Chapter 15. Jeff stood for a long time looking at the climbing frame. He didn't say anything, just stood there, stirring. Cassie wasn't sure if she should break the silence, but decided against it. She was just beginning to wonder whether he would notice if she walked away when he looked at her. "Strange," he said. "Is it? I lean more towards weird, and not in a good way." "But why here? I mean, the bin was a clumsy attempt at hiding the body, but here? Do you think it might be the same killer?" Cassie followed Jeff as he hurried towards their car. "Definitely. But here it's as if he wanted to say, 'This is me. Look at what I'm capable of.'" Jeff stopped abruptly, and Cassie bumped into him. He turned and looked at the murder site again. "Right. Let's get back. I want to make some notes before I brief your boss." Back at the office, Wen found most of her team, plus a few dozen extra staff, all busy answering phone calls, looking at computer screens, or making notes. As expected, the calls for the public's help had generated vast amounts of laborious work. All calls had to be logged, looked at, and if necessary, followed up. Some of the stranger calls might include someone having seen an alien from outer space with blood dripping from its jaws, or a tip that the culprit was a wild animal that had escaped from a zoo some 40 miles away. Those tip-offs were usually put in what the team called the loony bin. That file labelled extreme information was seldom consulted, and it had its own frequent flyers, the same names ringing in with wild stories each time a serious crime was committed. Wen had spent a few hours going through the file once. At first, she had found it amusing, but after a while she had decided that the human race was doomed, and this was the proof. "Let's have a team meeting in 30 minutes, please," said Wen. "All calls to go through to the answer service, though I do want real people on the other end of those lines for the next 24 hours at least." A few sighs and exasperated looks made Wen feel very demanding, but that emotion was soon replaced by grim determination to get this murderer before he struck again. 30 minutes later, the space was quiet, with an undercurrent of whispers as Wen turned to the room. "Door to door? Anything there?" Richard spoke up for his team. "Not a sausage, ma'am. Lots of people took posters, but not one person recognised the girl in the photo." "Right. Anything helpful come through the calls?" She put this to a young female uniformed officer who had been put in charge of the phone lines, with strict instructions to pass anything of interest on to one of Wen's detectives. "A few things that I've passed on to Jake," she said with confidence, "but all calls have been logged. When things slow down, I'll take a closer look at everything, Mom." "Thank you, Constable. And what did get passed your way, Jake?" "A couple of reported sightings around the time of the murder, and a few people saying they know who the victim is, all being followed up as we speak, Mom." "Good. Keep me informed, Jake, please. Now, nothing else yet on the forensics, but I'll—" Jeff burst into the room, quickly followed by Cassie. He stopped, caught Wen's eye, and smiled straight at her. Wen wanted to run and hide in her office. Her hands were damp and her mouth was dry, but she managed to hold her ground. Jeff took off his jacket and tossed it over a chair. "Ah, we've just come at the right time, I think." His eyes never left her face. Wen was sure she'd gone bright red. "Dr. Jeff Morgan, everyone," she said, finally managing to pull her gaze away from his. Dr. Morgan is here to help us with a possible profile of our killer, presuming it is just one killer, that is. Oh yes, I think we are safe with that conclusion. He advanced and stood next to Wen, far too close for her comfort. Over to you then, Dr. Morgan. Wen moved to one side and sat down before her legs gave way. She hadn't expected seeing him again to have this dramatic effect on her. I've read the case notes and visited the crime scene, and I will have to sit down and analyse this more deeply, but I concur with your DI. Jeff surveyed his audience. This is the same perpetrator, and he will kill again, soon.